Okay, so these are the test corrections for order of operation. This is the second part of your test. So make sure you're doing the correct one. Make sure that you have your data analysis and a sheet of paper so you could show all your work and show and explain your mistakes. So go ahead and grab that now and stop the video. Grab that now and come back to it. So make sure you have a paper and that you are ready to do the test corrections. So make sure you put test corrections and you're writing order of operations. And you go ahead and separate your page into two different columns, which would be on one side showing your work and what your answer was, what you should have been the answer, and then on the other side, explain why you got it wrong. Remember, this needs to be in complete sentences, and make sure that you're writing out everything that you saw that you did incorrectly, and that it's going to help you in the long run when you do that. So, complete sentences is a key thing to do. So go ahead and stop this, do that now, and then come back to the video to start with the first problem. Okay, so the first order of operation problem was number 3. It says Frank had $65. He spent $2 per day for 7 days. Then he was given $9 to divide equally between himself and his 2 brothers. The following expression can be used to find the amount of money Frank had after that. So based on this expression, what is the amount of money Frank had remaining? So in this case, they gave you the equation. You don't have to write it yourself. So what you're going to do, you're going to go ahead and solve it using order of operation. And remember that it's going to be PEMDAS. So you're going to do, so it's going to be add, subtract, parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, left to right, add, subtract, left to right. So we're going to start with the first one. So here we have a multiplication. There's no parentheses, we're skipping that. There's no exponents, we're skipping that. So we're going to do parentheses first. Multiplication first. So this is going to be 65 minus 14 plus 9 divided by 3. Now we're going to do the second part. The second part was division because we needed to divide that division problem. So it's going to be 65 minus 14 plus 3. Now we're going to go ahead and subtract. 65 minus 14 is 51 plus 3. So your answer is going to be 54. So that means Frank had $54 at the end of his collecting the money. So make sure you're looking at everything that you have, that you did, and make sure that you go back and correct those problems. And I actually make sure that you are explaining your mistakes. So go ahead and do that now, and then come back to the video. Number 6. The expression below is equivalent to which integer? So here we have integers, so remember about your integers rules. So we're going to go ahead and start with the parentheses. So I'm going to write it on this side to make it easier to actually work it out. So we have 57 divided by 3. So remember, with rules for integers, if you have different signs, then your answer is going to be negative. So this is going to be 2 negatives. So 57 divided by 3, I'm going to write it here. So 3 into 5 is 1 time. Remainder is 2. Bring down the 7. 3 into 27 is 9 time. And that's going to be 0. So that's going to be negative 19 plus 20 to the second power minus 5. Now I'm going to do the exponents. So the exponents is next. So it's going to be 2 to the negative 19 times negative 19 plus 2 to the second power is going to be 20 times 20, and that's going to be 400. So plus 400 minus 5. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead, multiply and divide. So I'm going to do multiplication first here. So we're going to multiply. So in this case, 2 times negative 19. It's still negative 19 times 2. Remember, different signs means they're going to be negatives. So 2 times 9 is 18. Carry the 1. 2 times 1 is 2. Plus 1 is 3. So that's negative 38 plus 400 minus 5. So remember with addition, adding integers, if they have different signs, you're going to subtract. So that's 400 minus 38. So that's going to be, we're going to carry over, borrow, and then go ahead and carry it over. So 10 minus 8 is 2. This becomes 9. 10 minus 3 is 6. And 3 minus 0 is 3. So I have 362 minus 5. So now we're going to go ahead and finish this off with 362 minus 5, because it's a minus 5, so we're subtracting. So again, we're going to go ahead and regroup. So 12 minus 5 is 7, 5 minus 0 is 5, and 3 minus 0 is 3. So my answer is letter A. So again, make sure that you have all these steps. Make sure that you are understanding where your mistake was, and then writing in complete sentence what the mistakes were. So go ahead and stop the video and do that now, and then come back to the video. Mrs. Morrison, number 7, Mrs. Morrison asked the class to generate an expression equivalent to 80. There's a typo here. Lucy used the prime factorization of 80 to form an equivalent expression, which best represents the expression Lucy wrote. So what we're going to do first is look at the answer choices and see if there's any composite figures, composite numbers. So what we're looking at is we're looking at each factor. So here we have a factor of 10, that's composite, so that's not going to be an answer. Here we have B, those are prime, we're good. C, those are prime, except 4, so that is not the answer because of that composite figure, or composite number, excuse me. And then D, 8 is not a prime number, it's a composite number. So then that means it could be B. I'm not sure, so I'm going to go ahead and do prime factorization. So we have prime factorization of 80. So I know it's 8 times 10. 8 is 2 times 4. There's a prime number, so I'm stopping here. 4 is not prime, so we keep going. 2 times 2. So there's my prime numbers. Now we go with 10. 2 times 5. And those are prime numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and look at my numbers, my factors. So you have 2, 2, 2, and 2. That's 4. So that's 2 to the 4th power. And then there's a 5 times 5. So if you look at B, 2 to the 4th power times 5, then yes, that's my answer. So if you got this wrong, remember, always look at your answer choices to see if it has composite figures. Because they're asking for prime factorization, you need to make sure that all factors are prime. So go ahead and stop the video, check to see what you did wrong, write in complete sentence, then come back to the video. Number 8, Mr. Brantz worked with a small group of students. He gives each student a different expression to evaluate as listed below. Which students have equivalent expressions? So what we're going to do, we're going to solve each one of them and then see which one has the same answer. Make sure that you are using PEMDAS. So let's start with Tabitha. And it's going to be a lot of writing, so make sure you have room. So Tabitha, we're going to do first exponents, because that's the first thing in the parentheses. So in this case, it's going to be 5 times 5 is 25, minus 10. We're going to do it again. 25 minus 10 is going to be 15. Then we're going to do multiplication, because we do multiplication before addition. So 4 times 15 is going to be 60. And 60 plus 17 is going to be 77. So Tabitha's is 77. Okay, so let's look at ones. Martin's is 9 to the second power divided by 3 times 3. Well, in this case, 9 to the second power is 81. 81 divided by 3. Let's do that over here. That's 2. Bring down the 1. That's 7. So that's 27 times 3. Well, it's going to give you 81. So my answer here is 81. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and make a little bit more room. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Martin. Martin, we already did. Lucy. So Lucy is going to be 56. Oops. 56 plus 34 plus 4 to the second power divided by 2. Okay, so parentheses first. And in parentheses, we have to look at what's in there. So we're going to do 56 plus 34, and 4 to the second power is 4 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16, divided by 2. Then we have the parentheses. 56 plus 34 plus 16, that's going to be 6 plus 4 is 10, carry the 1. 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 1 is 5, divided by 2. Now we're going to go ahead and do 50 divided by 2, so that's 56 plus 50 divided by 2 is 25, and 56 plus 25 is going to be, let's do that, six plus 5 is 11, 5 plus 2 is 7, plus 1 is 8. So that's 81. Ooh, we have Martin and Lucy so far the same, but we got to check to see if Everly has it the same too. So again, I'm going to make some room. So we're going to go in and do Everly's. Now remember, when you have a fraction that represents division 2. So 18 divided by 3 plus 5 times 2 to the 4th power. So the first thing we do is exponents. So we have 18 divided by 3 plus 5, 2 to the 4th power. So it's going to be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times 4 is 16. So that's going to be times 16. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and now multiply 16 times 5. 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 3 is 8. So that's going to be 18. Let me make a little bit more room. 18 over 3. Well, actually, 18 over 3, I could solve that too. So 18 divided by 3 is 6, plus 5 times 16 is 80, and 6 plus 80 equals to 86. So that means Everly is 86. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to look to see. I know Martin and Lucy's are the same. So Martin and Lucy. The rest are different, and if you notice, it's going to show other ones, other combinations, but make sure you're picking the correct one. So my answer should be letter B. So I know there was a lot of work you needed to do, but make sure that you're showing everything, especially if you got this wrong. So make sure you're completing the work and showing and explaining your mistakes in complete sentences. So stop the video and go ahead and do that and come back to it. Okay, so number 9 has another order of operation problem. It says Elizabeth evaluated the following expression. By moving the parentheses, she noticed she could create an equivalent expression which best represents the expression Elizabeth might have. So we have different parentheses in each part, but it's the same one. You have to come up with the same answer. So let's go ahead and do that. So we have to solve this one first. So this is going to be 20 plus 6 times 5 plus 10 minus 3 to the second power. So 20, we're going to do parentheses. So 20 plus 30 plus 10 minus 3 to the second power. Now we're going to do exponents. 20 plus 30 plus 10 minus 3 to the second power is 9. So now we go left to right. So that's 50 plus 10 minus 9. 50 plus 10 is 60 minus 9. That's going to be 51. So the answer to this is 51. And that's what we're looking for the other ones. So let's go ahead and do each one of them. So parentheses is 26 here. Times 5 plus 10 minus 9. So I did the exponent already. Then we do 26 times 5. So 26 times 5 is going to give you 30, 10, 13. So that's going to be 130. 130 plus 10 minus 9. Then we have 140 minus 9 is going to give you 31, sorry. So we know A is not my answer because of how they put the parentheses. So let's go ahead and do the next one. The next one, you're going to go from left to right again. Well, actually, you're going to do parentheses first. So you got to do exponents here first. So it's going to be 20 plus 6 times 5 plus 10 minus 9. Oops, I forgot the minus 9. Minus 9. Stays in parentheses. So that's going to be 20 plus 6 times 5 plus 10 minus 9 is 1. Then we go ahead and do the multiplication. So it's going to be 20 plus 30 plus 1. And 20 plus 30 is 50 plus 1. So that equals to 51. So that's a possible choice. I'm going to put that, and then I'm going to continue checking the other ones. So let's go ahead and look at letter C. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and do letter C, and I'm going to do it over here. So 20 plus 6 times 5 plus 10 minus 3 to the second power. So we do 5 plus 10. So 20 plus 6 times 15 minus 3 to the second power. Exponents now, 20 plus 6 times 15 minus 9, because 3 times 3 is 9. Then multiplication, so 20 plus 6 times 15 is 90, minus 9. 20 plus 90 is 110, minus 9, that's 101. So that's not my answer. Oops, that's not my answer. So we're going to go ahead and cross that out. And let's do the last one, which is letter D. And we're doing all of them to make sure B is the correct answer, because we could have made a mistake. Okay, so we're going to do parentheses first, and we always do exponents first. So this is going to be 5 plus 10 minus 9. So 20 plus 6 times. So 5 plus 10 is 15 minus 9 is going to give you 6. So I'm rewriting everything. So 6 times 6 is 36. And 36 plus 20 is 56. So in this case, it's not D. So my answer is going to be B. So make sure that you are showing the work. I actually did extra work. I know you found the answer in B. So if you just want to work them out and make sure that you look to see what you did wrong on the other ones, and make sure that you are explaining in complete sentence why you got it wrong. So stop the video and do that now. Okay, so number 10 reads, what is the value of the expression below? So you have -8 plus 3 plus 10 times -4. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and solve the parentheses. Now you might be confused by the parentheses around -4. But remember, we usually do that because we wanna keep the negative and the 4 together. So that's why they put them in parentheses. But the actual expression that you're gonna go ahead and solve first that are in the parentheses is -8 plus 3. Now remember that when you have a negative and a positive and you are adding, that's your operation, that means you're actually subtracting. So -8 and 3. So when you subtract it, this is going to be 5 because 8 is more of negatives. We're going to have -5. It's got -5 plus 10 times -4. Now remember, -4 and 10, that's the next thing because it's multiplication. And remember, when you have different signs in multiplication, it means that your answer is going to be negative. So now we're going to write it as -5 plus 10 times 4 is 40, but it's a -40. And I'm going to put it in parentheses just to keep it apart from the plus sign. Now I have a -5 plus a -40 because whenever you have two negatives and there's an addition in between, that means you're going to add it. So -5 plus -40 is going to give you 40 plus 5, which is 45. Because they're both negatives, your answer is going to be -45. So that should have been your answer once you're done. So again, go back, show your work, explain in complete sentence why you got this wrong, and then come back to the video. Okay, so now that you are done with your test corrections, you are going to go and do the retest. Now remember, keep your test corrections and your test. That way when you are working through your retest, it's helping you with remembering how to do these type of questions. So make sure that you are answering them. Remember, you do get points for every correct answer. So make sure you are showing that and you're doing your best on this. So good luck on your retest and go ahead and do that now.